You're watching a match. 22 players running around a giant field. Some of them are up front. Some are in the back. Some seem to just jog around in the middle doing nothing obvious. And the commentator keeps saying things like, the holding midfielder drops deep to screen the back four. And you have absolutely no idea what any of those words mean in that order. This video fixes that. 5 positions. What each one does. Why each one matters. And by the end, when you watch a game, you'll actually understand why certain players are where they are and what they're supposed to be doing. Let's go. Before we get into positions, one thing to understand. Soccer doesn't have fixed positions the way American football does. In the NFL, the quarterback stays in the pocket. The center snaps the ball. Everyone has a rigid role. Soccer is more fluid than that. Players move. Positions overlap. A left back might end up in the attacking third. A striker might drop deep to receive the ball. The positions are more like starting points, where you begin and what your primary job is, not a cage you're locked in for 90 minutes. With that said, every team is built around 5 core position groups. And understanding those 5 groups will make the whole game make sense. Goalkeeper. Defenders. Midfielders. Wingers. Striker. That's the map. Let's walk through each one. Goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is the easiest one to understand and honestly one of the hardest jobs in sport. Their job, stop the ball from going in the net. That's it. That's the whole position. They're the only player who can use their hands, but only inside the penalty box, that big rectangle in front of their goal. Outside that box, they have to use their feet like everyone else. What makes a great goalkeeper isn't just reflexes. It's decision-making. When do you come off your line to claim a cross? When do you stay back? Do you dive left or right on a penalty? Do you rush out when a striker is breaking through one-on-one? These decisions happen in fractions of a second, and the wrong call leads to a goal. There's also the mental side. A goalkeeper can have a perfect game, 10 saves, total domination, and still lose 1-0 because of one mistake. They carry the weight of every goal against them personally in a way no other position does. In the 2014 World Cup, Tim Howard made 16 saves against Belgium in a single match. 16. That's a record for a World Cup knockout game. The US still lost. That's what being a goalkeeper feels like sometimes. Position number 2. Defenders. Defenders are the players whose job is to stop the other team from scoring. They sit in front of the goalkeeper and form the first line of protection. Most teams play with either 3 or 4 defenders across the back. The ones in the middle are called center backs. The ones on the sides are called fullbacks, left back on the left, right back on the right. Center backs are usually the biggest, most physical players on the team. Their job is to win headers, block shots, tackle strikers, and generally make life miserable for anyone who comes near their goal. A good center back is calm under pressure. They read the game, meaning they anticipate where the ball is going before it gets there, and they organize the players around them. Fullbacks used to be purely defensive. Stay back, stop the winger, done. But modern soccer has completely changed this. Today's fullbacks are expected to attack. They run up and down the entire side of the field for 90 minutes. They overlap with midfielders, deliver crosses into the box, and then sprint back to defend when possession is lost. It is one of the most physically demanding positions on the pitch. If you watch a game and you see a player hugging the sideline, constantly running up and down the entire length of the field, crossing the ball in, and then racing back to defend, that's a fullback. And yes, they're exhausted. All of them, all the time. Position number 3. Midfielders. Midfielders are the engine of the team. If defenders protect and strikers score, midfielders do everything in between, and sometimes everything, period. The midfield is also where the biggest variety exists. There are multiple types of midfielders, and they each have completely different jobs. The first type is the defensive midfielder, sometimes called a holding midfielder or a 6, because of the jersey number traditionally associated with the role. This player sits just in front of the back 4 and acts as a shield. Their job is to break up opposition attacks, win the ball back, and recycle possession. They rarely score. They rarely get highlights. But when a team doesn't have a good one, the entire defensive structure falls apart. Think of the holding midfielder as the team's janitor. Absolutely essential. Completely unnoticed until something goes wrong. The second type is the box-to-box midfielder. This is the player who does everything. They defend, they attack, they cover ground, they score occasionally, they assist occasionally. They're the Swiss Army knife of the team. When a commentator says a player covers every blade of grass, they're talking about a box-to-box midfielder. These players run more than anyone else on the pitch. In a 90-minute match, a box-to-box midfielder can cover 12 to 13 kilometers. That's nearly 8 miles, while also making decisions constantly under pressure at full speed. The third type is the attacking midfielder, sometimes called a 10, again because of traditional jersey numbers. This player sits just behind the strikers and is usually the most creative player on the team. Their job is to find pockets of space between the opposition's midfield and defense, receive the ball, and either shoot, dribble, or thread a pass through to a striker. They're the player who makes things happen. The great 10s in history, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Messi when he drops deep, are the ones who make entire crowds hold their breath every time they touch the ball. Position number 4. Wingers. Wingers play on the wide sides of the pitch, one on the left, one on the right. And their job is to create problems for the other team using pace and skill along the flanks. The classic winger runs at defenders one-on-one, beats them with speed or dribbling, and then either crosses the ball into the penalty box for a striker or cuts inside and shoots. Cutting inside is where things get interesting. Right-footed wingers who play on the left side, or left-footed wingers who play on the right, will often drift inward toward goal instead of crossing. This gives them a cleaner angle to shoot with their stronger foot. Teams design entire tactical systems around this. Wingers are usually the flashiest players to watch. They're the ones doing the dribbling, the step-overs, the nutmegs. That's when you pass the ball through a defender's legs. Yes, it's as disrespectful as it sounds. When the crowd oohs and ahs during build-up play, it's usually a winger doing something ridiculous with the ball. Christian Pulisic, the U.S. team's best player, is essentially a winger. He plays wide or just behind the striker, and his value comes from his ability to carry the ball at pace, beat defenders, and produce goals and assists in big moments. If you watch the U.S. this World Cup and you want to know who to keep your eye on, watch Pulisic. Every time he gets the ball in space, something might happen. And finally, the striker, the number 9, the center forward, the person whose entire job is to score goals. Everything the team does when they have the ball is ultimately designed to get the striker a chance to score. The defenders win the ball. The midfielders move it forward. The wingers create space and deliver crosses. And the striker finishes. A great striker is part athlete, part assassin. They have to be physically strong enough to hold off defenders, fast enough to get in behind a backline, and composed enough to score when it matters. Missing a one-on-one chance against the goalkeeper, when it's just you and them and the whole net, is one of the most painful experiences in soccer. Great strikers score those. Average ones don't. There are different types of strikers too. The classic target man is big, physical, good in the air. They hold the ball up, bring teammates into play, and score with their head from crosses. The poacher is smaller, quicker, always in the right place at the right time, always scoring tap-ins from 2 yards out. And the false 9 drops deep like a midfielder to confuse defenders and create space for wingers to run into. The best striker at a World Cup becomes the story of the tournament. Ronaldo in 2002. Klose in 2006. Mbappe in 2018. Whoever that player is in 2026, the one who ends up on every highlight reel, they'll almost certainly be a striker. So here's the full picture. Goalkeeper stops goals. Defenders protect the goalkeeper. Midfielders connect defense to attack, control the tempo. Wingers create on the flanks, beat defenders, cross or shoot. Striker scores. 11 players. 5 position groups. 1 system. The next time you watch a match, pick one player and just watch them for 5 minutes. Not the ball, the player. See where they move, when they press, when they hold. You'll start to understand the shape of the game in a completely different way. That's positions. Done. Next video, we're going into tactics. What is a 4-3-3? What is a 4-2-3-1? Why do coaches stand on the sideline looking miserable when the other team changes formation? All of that explained simply. If you want to catch that one, and the rest of the World Cup breakdown videos we're putting out all summer, subscribe. We're posting multiple times a week, and every video is the same deal. No jargon. No assumptions. Just soccer explained like a normal person.